Welcome to today's episode of Penny for Our Thoughts podcast, where you can get a third-party opinion on any concerns, worries, or problems you may have in your life. Don't keep it to yourself. Give some to us. My name is Gerald.
And my name is John, and we are your hosts for Penny for Our Thoughts.
Today we're joined by a guest, very near and dear to my heart. It's my cousin. Why don't you introduce yourself, buddy pal?
You guys, I'm Matt. It's pretty nice to be in this podcast. You know, yeah. I don't really know what I'm doing, but you know, let's wing it.
Hey Matt, do any of us really know what we're doing?
But you know, it's kind of neat because like we've always had people around our age group, and now we have someone younger now, right?
Yeah.
So now we'll get like a different, I wouldn't say generation.
Not quite.
Not quite, but you know, different thought ranges.
Exactly.
Ages,
for context,
exactly.
I'm 27. Oh my God, I'm 27. And Matt, you are?
18.
He's 18, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some interesting perspectives here.
Yeah.
Why don't we just jump right in? Our first topic here is submitted by Hey There, Hey. And they say, why does my personality dissolve around people I don't know well? When I'm around friends and family, I can be loud, crack jokes, actually have conversations about whatever, or say anything that's on my mind. But all of that stops when I'm around people that I don't know very well. I become quiet and shy and overall reserved to myself. There's nothing wrong with that in small doses, but I feel like something's blocking me from being my regular self, and I don't know what. I know that people around me are too busy thinking of themselves, so, you know, if I do anything weird or embarrassing, they're going to forget it anyway. I know humans will naturally have shifts in behavior depending on the people you're around. But despite this, I feel like I'm involuntarily slipping into this boring version of myself, and I don't know why. I want to be my regular self, but I feel like I can't reach it. And anyone know why or have been in the same position?
Matt, you're on your friend group. You graduated. You must have definitely felt this, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely for sure. I mean, for me, for the longest time, I've been so comfortable ever since probably even elementary. I've always had like the same group of friends, right? I've been to relatively small schools really up until high school. So I never really had to make new friends, right? So I only experienced that somewhat in high school, and yet I still have trouble till this day, even though I just graduated, being exactly as a user submitted, where I'm just not really myself either. And I feel like sometimes for me, it's more because sometimes you even though you know they're not going to care in the end, you want to meet some people's expectations. You want to be able to vibe with other people, but you just don't know what to do, right? Just because, at least for me, I've been so comfortable around the same people that, you know, I don't really have an identity outside of that. So I don't know. I guess that's just how I feel about it. How about you guys?
Would you have any tips though for this person?
Tips? To be honest, with this pandemic, it hasn't really helped. You know,
You're right. Definitely right.
I skipped an entire year pretty much of in-school experience. So, but for what I realize is that, you know, you'll end up just talking to the right people. You'll just end up talking to the right people, and whether, you know, they'll end up just vibing with you.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you'll get to a certain comfortability where, you know, where you can really just talk about anything, right? And sometimes it might be harder to find those people depending on who you are, whether you're introverted, extroverted, that sort of thing. But, you know, I think you just got to put yourself out there, even though at this time might be a little bit hard with COVID restrictions and other things like that. I still think that maybe in the future, or maybe when there's an opportunity to, you probably could just talk to random people, right? And I think it's just the effort part that you have to try.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, you're right. And I think, you said it was a she?
I don't think they specified.
Well, this person is not alone in this situation, right? When I work, every week I'm meeting different people, and I'm working pretty close proximity with these people that I have no idea, right? And then for the 4 days I do work, the first day, yeah, it's gonna take time to like just, I'm not really by myself. I'm just kind of just feeling these people out and see how they would react if I was like myself and stuff like that. Because I definitely feel like my personality isn't something that a lot of people would be like, oh, I guess enjoy because I'm pretty out there and whatever. Tension's pretty high. But I think everyone just goes through that, right? It's that uncomfortable kind of like, I get not uncomfortable, more like the shy phase.
Yeah.
And then once you realize that these people are similar to you in a lot of different ways, then I think you'll open up. And I think eventually it boils down into confidence too. Because if you're confident, who cares what they think, right? Well, why does it matter what they think about you? Just be like, well, I'm confident in myself. I'm proud of myself. I don't really care what you think about me, right? I mean, obviously, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick about it. Don't be mean about it. But if you are confident in yourself, I'm sure it'll slowly go away. But I think if you are worried about being in that stage where you're uncomfortable with new people and not showing your true self, that happens to everybody. I don't think it's just you.
Yeah.
So don't like blame yourself and don't like beat yourself up because, you're going through that.
Yeah. Speaking from personal experience, it usually takes a while for me to like you said, like testing the waters, kind of trying to, I tend to try to match people's energy. Right. And one thing I will say of note is that I try not to put too much weight on this because like you said, it's a very common occurrence to be around people that you're not comfortable with. Right. And generally, me personally anyway, it takes a lot of energy to try to do that every time, trying to figure people out, trying to like match their energy. And so it's going to take a matter of time before you're comfortable enough in who you think your true self is for you to just be that person, because after a certain point, you're going to get tired of like trying to quote unquote fit in with every new group, like you just kind of have to, at some point, you got to be yourself. And I think you hit the nail on the head by saying once you hit that point where you're confident in your self-identity, you're confident in not having to really like pander to what people expect from you. Mm-hmm. I think that's when you can, and again, it's frustrating because it takes time before you can do that, right?
And don't get upset because there's always going to be people that isn't going to vibe with you.
Exactly.
Right? Personally, exactly. I mean, that's why the whole Myers-Briggs personality test exists and people go by that so much, exactly. Right? Is that you're going to have personality clashes and it happens, right? So there's going to be times where you meet new people and those people aren't going to be your best of friends just because you just don't match, right?
Just because of who they are.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's not on you. That's just how life is just going to be. Yep. So if you do meet a group of people and you just don't get along as well as you like, it's probably just, it is what it is. I'm sure you have your personal best friends, your personal, people like friend group. Just stick with that more, right? I mean, don't ditch that, right?
And when you have that group, if you stay long enough inside of a group, for example, it's like a class. If you're in high school, you're going to be around the same people all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Or even post-secondary, you're going to find that certain group that you vibe with, like you're going to end up doing that regardless because you're around the same people over and over every day. You just gravitate towards the people that, you tend to be more comfortable with. You tend to be more, you vibe with, for the lack of a better term. And I've definitely found that and it's a natural thing. Don't feel like you're left out. Hey there, hey. It's what happens to everyone, right?
Yeah.
Some people just carry it a bit nicer than other people. And those people I personally envy.
Yeah, me too.
Because they walk in the room and everyone's like, hey, but it's if you're not the type of person to naturally do that, it is very tiring.
And I even think that with the presence that you would bring of going into that group and it's like, hey, whatever, you're here.
Yeah.
What's up? I think that in any setting, in every group, and there's at least one friend group that will react to like that to you,
Yes.
Like it may not be from one group or one other friend group, but definitely maybe like your closest friends when they get hyped when they end up seeing you, right? Yeah. And so it's those type of people that you just gotta find. and it's gonna take some time, but you'll eventually get there.
And that's what I mean, right? About not putting too much value or putting too much weight in necessarily quote unquote getting along with every single person you see.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's those small, well, I don't know if I can speak for everyone, but me personally, I think it's that small group of friends that you find really close and really vibe with that matter in the long run, right? You could see a person one day who hates you and you never see them again, and it's not going to matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm always with my like close friend groups, right? If I don't get along with someone at work, I'm like, whatever.
Exactly.
Right? I can just call in sick or something. Avoid the situation or something.
Man, it sucks when you have to do a job that with the people around people you don't get along with, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It does suck. I've been through it. Like I have to work pretty like close with the person next to me, right? And I've definitely not got along with someone. It's very seldom. Like I think one or two people.
Right.
I don't know. For me, I just suck it up and just deal with it. It's just job. I'll get paid. But then it does make the experience much better once you like start talking and, you know, vibing with the people you work with. And those are the times where I had the most memorable moments at work.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of those things is that you will realize who those people are. Is that, at least for me, I pretty much did online the entire, last year of high school, and you realize who are your close friends and who are not.
Yeah.
So, you will realize that in that time where you're really not talking to anyone and you really have to make that effort to talk to people, to join calls with them, whether that's Discord or, I don't know, FaceTime or whatever, or even just hanging out. You will see all those people who make that effort for you.
Yes.
And the effort you put in for them. And maybe you'll realize that one friend that you're trying to maybe not impress, but more like try to get close with during school, and it's just like your classmate or something like that, or someone in your club or something like that. You realize that you guys don't have that, bond together. So, and you realize they're just not for you, I guess, in some way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You gotta pick and choose your friends, right?
Yeah.
You can pick your nose, you can pick your friends. You can't pick your friend's nose.
All right. I think we covered that one pretty well. Let's go.
And with that, no, just kidding. Okay. So move on to the next one here. I think we covered that one. This one is from Throwra Gym Sesh.
Ooh, gym sesh.
Gym Sesh. I, 26 male, don't want to work out with my girlfriend, 24 female. Me and Angie have been dating for 3 years and living together for 1 year. I would say that typically we have very good communication, but I'm having a hard time raising this issue. So I work out often. If I can help it, I work out 6 days a week. Quarantine made it harder, but I was still able to work out here and there. Angie has never conveniently worked out. She either went on hikes or played volleyball. According to her, she gained 20 pounds during quarantine. I didn't really notice, but she was a little insecure about it. So I offered to take her to the gym with me, and we've been going for about 3 weeks now. The problem is that she sees us working out as quality time when I'm just trying to get in and get out as quickly as possible. She's been so happy that we've been able to spend more time together, but for me, it's exhausting that I'm spending almost twice as much time at the gym because she wants us to work out with each other. I really need some advice on how I could I could let her down gently and minimize the amount of hurt feelings.
Work out at a time where she doesn't want to get up or she doesn't want to do it. If you it sucks for you. And I'm sure everyone has a time when they work out. Like I have my time, early afternoon. But if that's like the case, I'm assuming if you work a job, you're probably in the evening ish, around 5, 4, whatever, early evening, late evening. Yeah, man, just get up in the morning and go in the morning. I'm sure she won't be like, let's go again. Like then you'll be like, no, I have a reason not to go. And you can actually, that's a pretty valid reason. But recently we've been, for a lot of the one that we had is like boyfriends don't want to work out with girlfriends. I wonder why.
I don't know. Like, it's a pretty common thing, I guess. Quarantine just makes people want to work out or whatever.
But like, it's always been like, oh, I guess we wouldn't have concerns if they're like, oh, I like working out with my girlfriend.
It's a common thing, I guess.
Matt, what would you say?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a difference of, I guess, motivation, right? Like one just wants to spend time. And I think that in some ways that maybe you could just make up for that time somewhere else. Maybe like if maybe whether that means more dates or something like that.
That's what I was thinking.
More walks in the park instead of just working out. And honestly, like if you can also change your time and just, work out a different time. And if she really is like resistant to that, you could say like, and just honestly, I would be completely honest about it. But like, because I feel like lying about that would kind of be
lying in general just won't get you to a good place, right?
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'd just be at a shitty point. And I feel like if you at least hung out with her more, go on more dates, spend more time together before that, you'll be like, oh, okay, maybe she might get it. But
the topic here is I think is about communication,
yeah,
right? Because you both have differing expectations of what it means to work out. Like you're working out to work out. She's working out to spend time with you, right?
Mhm.
And John, I think it's a perfectly valid solution as long as the girlfriend understands why you're doing it, right? I think before you start switching your workout times, especially because it seems like the girlfriend values it so much, she's gonna be like, hey, why don't we work out together anymore? And then he's gonna have to talk about it anyway, right?
yeah,
I could see that happening.
Yeah, no, I can see
Right.
that.
Um,
I think big things, if you are going to change your workout time, is have a valid reason. But, you're really getting rid of that quality time that you guys are spending together.
Yeah.
Just because you're working out early doesn't mean you just get rid of that quality time that you would have had. You have to replace that with
Yeah,
something so she
exactly.
won't get mad.
And that
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
I think that's what Matt was saying too. So a combination of both of you guys' solutions, I think would work as long as it's like laid out that it's like, hey, I'm not trying to avoid you. Just my reason for going to the gym is blah, blah, blah. And your reason is blah, blah, blah. But I would like to make all that time up with you. Like it's
Exactly.
not you're avoiding your girlfriend, right?
I wonder if there's anything else that like they could do even together. Like you said, like she likes going the I guess a non-conventional workout, like hiking, going for walks,
Hiking, playing volleyball.
volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably, if he likes working out, he probably likes sports.
Yeah.
Yep.
If a good example would be if they have time in the schedule to join like a rec league with your girlfriend or something.
exactly.
Yeah, and that could like replace that working out time, and you could if
Exactly.
you're like you need to get more workout done, then go work out again, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure
Mhm.
she'll be like, I'm done.
Assuming he
Yeah,
enjoys
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure like once, like from what my experience, when girls do like some kind of activity like that, like volleyball, sports, whatever, they don't want to do like weightlifting after. Like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm too tired, right?
In my experience,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, no, I'm tired.
So then at this point, you had your quality time, and now you get your workout, right?
Mhm.
And for all we know, maybe you really enjoy that activity, whether it's volleyball, hiking, and then you just replace that with your working out too. Because I've definitely done that. I'm like, I don't want to do anything else after this kind of thing. So
Yeah. And this relates as well to what Jojo was talking about in our last session. Some people's love language is quality time.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm. Yep.
And you have to make sure that if you see that that's the case for your significant other, you have to accommodate for that if you want to keep them around, right? Especially in this case, it seems like he doesn't want to. Obviously, he's not unhappy with his girlfriend, but he's unhappy being exhausted from being in the gym for twice as long.
And I truly understand that. I hate being in the gym for that long.
Yeah.
Like, and if it's because of someone else, dude, I would hate my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've had it like, I'm not naming any names, but I've had it where like some people just enjoy the vibe of the gym.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I've been there too. But if you're there for like 3-4 hours, like, are you still working out or you're just hanging out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but I mean, you and I both know someone who's at the gym for like hours at a time, but that person's actually working out, which I don't understand how he does that.
Yeah.
But okay, all the right to him.
This is true. I mean, I don't know, man. I guess some people just work out differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this case, it all boils down to just really, as this guy said, letting her down gently and don't be like, hey, babe, I don't want to work out with you anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just being like, hey, I'm no offense, what would the word be? No offense to you. Like, I'm not trying to get away from you, babe, or girlfriend, whatever you call your girlfriend. But I'm going to the gym for one reason, is just to work out. Not that I don't want to spend time with you. Just being completely honest, right? Being completely open, and assuming you're not in a bad place in your relationship, I'm sure she'll understand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It boils down to, once again, communication.
I'm sure like if you find something that you guys both bond upon, whether it's sports or hiking, whatever, I'm sure that she'll get over this working out thing.
Okay, I think it's nice and simple.
Yeah, I think we covered that one pretty well.
Yeah. I got 2 more in the holster here.
Nice. We got 4 today. Eh?
Yeah, we got 4. And one of them's like completely out of left field. All of these other ones were pretty like tame.
Yeah.
There's one of them, they're like, anyway. We'll work our way up to that one.
All right.
This one is from Savvy Star. Is it okay to be 22 and not know what the heck you're doing? I'm 22 years old and I'm still in college, but I'm really confused with it and not sure where I will go once I graduate. My degree won't really be helpful, I'm afraid. I feel so weird because it seems like all my friends have it all together and I'm still here not knowing what I'm doing or where I'll end up. I know I have set a goal, but I'm just going along with life. I'm not sure how I'll get to my goal. It's just frustrating because I overthink every decision I ever make, and I feel like I'm always going in the wrong direction half of the time, mostly because my parents were always so strict growing up. So I don't know. So if I don't have their approval with things, I feel like I'm in the wrong or a loser. Does anyone else relate / have any advice?
Do their friends really know what they're doing if they're the same age?
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah. Because at least for me, all my friends have all these things planned out, right?
Yeah.
For university. But even if they're in a longer time at university or they have a better job lined up or something like that, I still, and I completely envy them. It's like, oh, they went through all this trouble before and, look at them now. But I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I just graduated, but I'm sure they don't know either, right? I think they just, and it comes down to also having the parents thing where they tell you to do a certain thing and it's not really something you would want to do, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. You just can't compare yourself with others, even though I know it's hard to, but as much as possible, you have to go at your own pace and realize what you're doing. And, eventually, hopefully, I don't know, I haven't even been to that stage yet. Hopefully you'll end up finding something you like and, doing that for maybe the rest of your life, right?
So are you saying that even you don't know what you want to do with your life right now?
No, not even close.
Yeah. So 18, how old was this person?
That's
22.
22, right? It's only a 4-year difference.
Yeah.
Right. That 4 years can take time for you to like understand what you want to do. Like even when I started, I went to school in post-secondary not knowing what I wanted to do. I just kind of followed my brother's footsteps because I think he was going to business, and I was like, I'll just see what I can do and start going that route first and follow his route. And then I realized I'm not going that route whatsoever. And I think when I was 19, 20s when I figured out what I wanted to do, and then eventually it worked out. But all through that, I didn't know what I was going to do. I think if you are in school right now, and since you don't know if your degree is going to get you a job or not, just do something you enjoy, right? Yeah. Eventually you'll figure out what you want to do. I think it takes time.
Definitely.
100%. And you ask, this is kind of the mentality I always had. It's like, how can I pick something when I'm like, 18 to 20 years old to 22 years old that I'm going to do for like 50 years or longer or 40 years or longer.
Yep.
Right. And that's a big decision you have to make at that time. And once you make it, hopefully you don't change it. To like most parents and most people.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that decision made, it's 100% okay. Right. One decision you're going to make when you're 20 years old is going to determine what you're going to do for 40 years old. I'm sure for next 40 years. I think that's okay to take your time to decide on that.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And that way of thinking, I think, is the more traditional, conventional way of doing things, right? Mm-hmm. But personally, I feel like it's overrated. Like, I feel like there's enough people who have switched careers in the middle of their career, like completely successful careers, and have made it past, like, and still succeeded, that I think that way of thinking is like, you don't have to follow it. It's perfectly good. If you find what you want to do at 18, 19, good for you.
Yeah.
But me personally, I can't see myself doing the exact same thing for 40 years, whether that be the same job over and over, or like the way I see myself going down, the road of life is having like a main sort of thing, and then plenty of like plenty of side things, because I'm the type of person who just gets completely distracted and attracted to many different things, right? So again, I've just never been the type to subscribe to that way of thinking of just being, you know, like a one trick for your entire life. So if what's his name? Oh, did I mention his name? I did. Where'd he go? Savvy Star.
Yes, yeah, you did. Yeah.
Savvy Star. If you're worried about finding that one thing you're gonna do for the rest of your life, maybe think about like going outside the box, thinking I'm going to do this for a specified amount of time. If I like it, I'm going to continue, you know, because generally how things go is you earn money and you have enough money to be flexible and trying to do other things. Right. That's how I hope personally that my life will go. But there's been enough people who don't know what they're doing by the time they're like 30, 40, 45, right. And still made it past that I don't think you need to necessarily worry unless you're really hopeless, which I don't think you are.
I think you made a good point that, like, you know, I was kind of the traditional way. I do think it's a little overrated, but I think on average, I think people change their careers at least once or twice in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I think that's completely okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Right. You're finding what you want to do and you're switching. So, you know, if you are in that mindset of like what I did, kind of like I want to keep one job for the rest of my life and just kind of do it, then don't, right? I did it, but I don't think it's the best idea. It just puts a lot of pressure on yourself that you don't need to put on, right?
Yeah, and I think the nice thing about nowadays is that you can afford to do that, like, more than before.
Yeah,
there's more opportunities now, I feel like, than you could have before, like in our, I guess, parents' generation, where they just go, okay, all you got to do is go to university, get a job, and then, you know, live a life after that. And I think we're past that stage where, you know, there's other things, there's other options. There's learning from home. There's, you know, I guess being a little bit more liberal minded nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's picking up steam, that sort of lifestyle where pick up odd jobs here and there to continue living. And, you know, if you can survive off doing that, personally, it's not my cup of tea, but if you can do that, do that, right? Like there's like the world's your oyster, right?
Yeah.
And it's so easy nowadays that even if you're the type to go to university, you can do that at like 35, 36, 40, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
It's harder.
It is. It's definitely harder.
Yeah.
It's definitely harder, but the option is there. And I've gone to school with people like 1.5 times my age, and they made it perfectly fine, right?
Yeah, and actually, I just kind of thought about this just now. Someone I know, and he's a great guy. I respect him highly. He went to university, post-secondary, got a PhD in engineering. Then he's like, I don't want to pursue engineering because it's kind of what his parents wanted him to do.
Yeah.
Then he went back to university, then got a PhD in, I believe, in Western musical theory, I think is what it was. And then I talked to him recently, like maybe like a month ago or a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he's going to get another PhD in composition. And I was like, so you're going to get 3 PhDs? He's like, yeah. I was like, you know, like I can't do it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I will never go to school for that long. And I hated my 4 years. Not hate it, but like I just will never go back. But like he did it. He has 3. He's going to get his third PhD. Like,
oh my goodness.
So, and he's in, I think he's mid 30s, right? So it's never too late. If you're saying that you're, you know, low 20s and you think that, you know, you don't have your life together, like you have to realize this guy's mid 30s going for his 3rd PhD. So don't worry about it too much. Yeah,
exactly. And be adaptable, right? Like don't get disappointed if you don't hit your goal when you want to hit it. It just means you just gotta make sure that you keep the mindset of just because I'm not where I want to be, my life is over. You know?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you just don't stop. Just keep going.
Lifelong student, you know?
Yeah.
3 PhDs though, I can't do that.
That's a lifelong student.
That's a lot of school, man.
Yeah.
But he loves it. Like he loves it.
That's
and
fair.
You know, like he could have got a job with his PhD in engineering, but he decided to do something he loves. And that's something I can highly respect.
Exactly.
But I mean, yes, that's cool. You got your 2nd one, but I mean, go for a 3rd one. Like, I don't know. I just don't like school that much. But he just loves learning. And that's why I respect him so much. Right. Good for him. And, you know, hopefully I see him soon after this COVID thing ends.
Yeah. He's just between you and me, he's the type of guy to make me think like, man, am I doing life right? You know,
Yeah.
am I doing this right?
If I didn't go the career path I went to, I think I would have been like, oh my gosh, like, am I doing this right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're 100% right. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that he's, again, I respect him so much.
Cool. I think that puts a button on that. Well, we're on to our last and final topic for today. This one's from Extent Old 9973. It goes, my 23 female best friend, 23 female, has gone insane since I met someone. For context, we've always been extremely close to the point where we're frequently mistaken as a couple. We live together and spend most of our free time together too. She's bisexual, but has always insisted that she is not attracted to me. And until very recently, I've always thought I was asexual or something. About 2 months ago, I met my now boyfriend. I don't know what came over me, but for the first time in my life, I found someone else attractive, and it was like I went feral. I spent the night with him, and then the next 2 weeks after that too, he even bought me new clothes so I wouldn't have to go home. I texted my friend the first night so she knew I was okay, but I was busy, so communication was a bit spotty after that. When I did eventually get home, she lost it on me. She tried to frame it as concern at first, but when I said that I was in regular contact with her and that I'm an adult, she started attacking me instead, and implied that my behavior was weird and unstable. We have literally never fought in any capacity before, so this came as a shock. I assumed she'd had a bad day and tried to let it go, but since then she hasn't stopped. She's been constantly taking jabs at me, taking jabs at my boyfriend, doing things to annoy me intentionally, making up rules for me that are completely inappropriate. I have to spend twice as much time I do with her as I do with him. If I get pregnant, I have to have an abortion. I can't spend nights or weekend at his place. I can't move in with him for 2 years. I can't marry him for 5 years. And she's making up BS reasons for why I owe her large amounts of money, and she keeps waking me up when I'm sleeping to complain, etc. She's gone completely unhinged, and I've been avoiding her by hiding on my boyfriends for now. She keeps sending me passive-aggressive texts about how I've abandoned her and is guilt-tripping me. All my stuff is still there, so I can't avoid her forever. Just what the heck is happening? I'm assuming this isn't fixable, but I'm at a complete loss at what I should do. Help.
Is she really your friend if she's doing that? Like, I feel like as a friend, you have to be understanding of your other friends, situation. And I don't think she's handling that very well.
I'm getting like the jealous type feel.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you said that she was bisexual. So I have a feeling that like once
she did like him.
I think she was happy that like, oh yeah, she's not meeting anybody else. But then once like it happened, I think she's like, oh my gosh, like now this person that I was like that I had forever now is gone, right?
Yeah.
This whole jealousy thing. Maybe she's not like sexually attracted to this person, but
yeah,
I think she has that like, what's that word? What's the word?
Attachment.
Platonic attachment.
Yeah, or what's that word? Where you like hold something and you just don't want to give it away. Am I making what words here?
You defined it, so we know what you mean. We'll worry about it later.
Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? All right, but go on, guys. I can't think of it.
How would you handle that?
I don't know if I could. I mean,
like, what would you do then if you couldn't handle that situation?
I don't know if I would see them as someone who I can trust anymore, in my opinion. I don't think at that point, I think I would try to, distance myself from them some way, because at that point, I think that's just a toxic relationship and something that she doesn't need in her life. And if that was me, I personally wouldn't want that, unless you have some sort of that, all the good times that we've had before and it's all gone. But, I think it's dealing with the person who's that now, or you have to somehow convince them. If you really want to keep them, you have to somehow convince them to, adapt to your situation. Right. But,
and it sounds like she's having a very hard time trying to do just that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like a psychiatrist or anything, but it sounds to me that someone hurt her friend in the past, and she's using her as a kind of a crutch to like keep her keeping her
close,
around, you
yeah.
know, like to feel like she still has someone that cares about her, sort of thing. And I may be reading way too much into it, but she to me feels like sounds like she's feeling abandoned. Like imagine spending 100% of your time
being abandoned.
Yeah, the friend feels like she's being abandoned.
Yeah, definitely.
Because put yourself in her shoes, right? She's spending 100% of her time with extent old, and suddenly all that time is gone. She's alone. I don't know if she's alone, but she's not with her best friend who she's so used to being around 100% of the time, right? Now, like we can analyze the situation all we want, but at the end of the day, what do you do? Like how can you explain this to your friend and be like, hey, I'm not trying to ditch you, but you had to know eventually this would happen, right? Like
but maybe she wasn't expecting it, right? Because she did say she thought herself was like asexual.
that's
right? So
true.
then
That
maybe
is
she
true.
didn't
Yeah.
think that boyfriend would ever happen. But I don't know. If I was her, I would leave if I could. Just get out of there. Like it seems like she's controlling every aspect of her life that has never even happened. Like she's worrying about the future that has never even occurred, never even happened, and now she's like you said, like, you know, get an abortion if you get pregnant. You can't move in with her for 2 years or whatever. All the different, like, you know, what's the why can't I find words today? Like standards that she needs to keep, right? Like it's just not like, she's not your mom, and even if it was your mom, like you would still be upset, right? So if your parents did that to you, how would you feel? Would you leave the house and get your place on your own self? But because that's exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
She's very controlling. Very. I wouldn't say this if she was her mom, but she's very very clingy in a bad way.
Yeah.
She's looking desperate, trying to keep the. It sounds like the one thing she has in this world. Like that's what it seems like to me, right? Like she's her entire world.
It's like Gollum in the Ring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm getting that vibe from her. Like, I'm sorry, you may not have seen this side of her before, but like she sounds kind of crazy, dude. Sounds.
She could have had some traumatic experience in the past, but still
That's what I'm
shouldn't explain that goes on to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's not your responsibility at the end of the day, right? I firmly believe that someone else's happiness, someone else's mental health is not another person's responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's causing you enough trouble, enough, negative effects in your life, then at some point that other person has to realize that it's on them to fix that. Right.
Yep.
Because, sure. Like an argument could be made that, you shouldn't have just gone cold turkey on your friend and went completely to your boyfriend. But,
But even so, if that happens, the friend should be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it definitely happens, right?
Yeah.
It's like the cliche thing, right?
Yeah.
Once like a friend gets a boyfriend or girlfriend, they just leave the friends for like a long time and they just hang out with a lot of friends with their significant other. And then they come back and they're like, hey, welcome back kind of thing, right? And normally the friends should accept that even if it did happen, is my thoughts on it. And she's just taking that way overboard.
I feel like a lot of people don't agree with that though. Well, especially your friend.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a common thing to completely see that in a negative light, which, it's controversial in my opinion, but like you said, it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like someone new, someone exciting, someone you're potentially trying to build your life with. I think it's okay to step away from your friends for a bit and expect them to still be there, right?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I'm okay. Like if one of my friends had their significant others and they kind of obviously spend majority of the time with them, I feel like I understand. I would obviously take some pokes and jabs and make fun of him, right?
Yeah.
That's my way of kind of going through it, but I wouldn't be like, yo, dude, like where's my time? Like where's time you're spending with me? I wouldn't do that. I'd be like, that's completely understandable. And guarantee you eventually, like, obviously if he or she values me as a friend, eventually I'm going to meet that significant other. And then at that point, everyone gets together and hang out that time, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be upset that, this person is spending more time with a significant other in the starting of the relationship when that's when like the whole, honeymoon period of the relationship is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like literally when someone gets married and they're like going their honeymoon. And I'm just like, oh, I want to tag along. It's the same idea. Like
You're paying for her trip. Why are you paying for mine?
I wouldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I think whether they're married and in their honeymoon phase there, like actual honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
And then, start a relationship honeymoon phase. I'm not going to just join that. Like that's awkward for me too.
Yeah. And I think at that point you just have to keep you have to do you, and I feel like everything else would just come together as once I guess you figure that out. So
My advice, I would leave. I think
I would too.
the relationship with your new boyfriend is probably not very like long. Like it's probably pretty short, like a couple months. Like wait a little bit longer if you can. But if your boyfriend's okay with it, I would just leave
Yeah.
and live with them. Or if you can financially do it, live by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, even if you end up not being your boyfriend for a very long time, I still wouldn't try to go back with that friend knowing that they would do something like that in the future.
Yeah.
They could possibly do that. So I don't think maybe she changed or she just, she wasn't like that before, but I guess she is now. So, it could happen again. So I wouldn't take the risk and still be with that friend.
That sucks though, because it sounds like she values that person as her friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, she said best friend too,
Right?
Yeah.
So like just
It's
picking
gonna
up
be
and
hard.
leave is I feel like it'd be easier said than done for sure.
Yeah. And it's a very childish way of thinking. It's like that whole idea of like, you like a child that's just doing his own thing. There's a toy in the sand pit, but he just playing with the sand, not touching it. But once another kid comes and starts
Yeah.
playing with that toy, it's like that the kid's like, "Yo, I want to play with that toy," kind
Yeah.
of thing, right? That's what coming into my head right now? But
Yeah. And I feel like it's not uncommon. This is just a very very
Extreme.
intense,
Yeah.
extreme version of it. Like people have their own, like when I was a kid, I don't know if I told you guys the story. When I was a kid, whenever my dad would play with other kids, because I was firstborn in the family, I was the first kid in the family, right? So every time my mom or dad would play with other kids, I'd go up to them after and be like, "Parents, do you still love me?" And of course the answer was yes every time, right?
Yeah.
So like that's something you have to realize. If it's someone that you value and values you, they're going to value you whether or not you're in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And I guess going back to love languages, except the friend version of that, if you value quality time with your friend and you're not getting that quality time, yes, it may feel like some sort of abandonment or stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I mean, they're your friend for a reason, right? Like there has to be some sort of understanding there that there's going to be other parts of their life that might come in between you two. And if you're good friends, then I believe those things that get in between, they won't stay in between you. Like you're still going to be friends after or during, for example, a relationship, right?
A good friend should understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't think she does.
She's lashing out, right?
Yeah, she's just lashing out.
She's understanding what's going on in her own head. Like, oh, she's going to leave me. She's, she's going away forever. I don't get enough time with my friend. And that's unfortunate because that's hard. It's a hard, track to get out of.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're feeling, it sounds to me like a panic response too, right? She's knee-jerk reaction. My friend's leaving me. What do? I freak out. I panic. I lash out. And hopefully, if she calms down, if she her emotional state kind of lowers, that she'll realize hey, she's my friend. She'll come back, or we'll have our time eventually, right? And we're not going to be not friends because she has a boyfriend. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say that wraps it up pretty well. Unless any final words from any of you guys?
It's not really, I don't think it's really advice. It's just analyzing what the situation is. So take from that what you will. Extent old 9973.
I mean, all of us, majority of us just leave. But I mean, if you, like you, Gerald said, I do feel like you are valuing this person as your best friend and friend. I mean, if she's not listening to you, because clearly you've talked to her and she's not listening to you, is she valuing you as a friend on her side, right? You might value it, but if it's not reciprocated, then it's nothing.
It is a bit selfish in my opinion too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a two-way street for any relationship.
Yeah. I think it puts a button on all of those topics.
Yeah. So quick review, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number one was,
why does my personality dissolve around people I don't know well?
Matt, you want to?
You just got to find the right people.
Yeah.
You just got to keep trying. And it'll all work out.
Yeah. And I don't think it's a matter of impressing everyone or,
exactly.
winning everyone over. Just
yeah.
Be cordial. Next one. I don't want to work out with my girlfriend.
Find a replacement for the quality time that you guys spent together.
Yep.
And then I'm sure that replacement will let you kind of allow you to work out by yourself and you get that time back.
Yeah.
Right. I think it feels like she values the quality time together over anything else. It doesn't matter if it's working out, whether it's a hike, whether it's playing video games, whatever, cooking together. Just replace that quality time with something else, and then you get your workout time back, I think.
Agree. Number 3 was, is it okay to be 22 and not know what the heck you're doing? Long story short, yes. You're
It's
perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You have so much time. And as long as you're kind of shooting for a general direction.
Yeah. Just keep her going.
Keep her going. Exactly. And last but not least, my best friend has gone insane since I met someone.
Just get out.
Get out.
Just get out.
I would get out.
Man.
Yeah, I
if
would.
you have other ways, other people to support you, this can get toxic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just bring it up that you're respecting her, but she's not respecting you.
Yep.
And we'll
If
see
she
what
doesn't
goes from
like
there.
that, then just
Or
dip.
just pull up Matt and John and get out.
See ya. Cool. I think that covers everything for today's episode.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt, for
Of course.
coming as our guest for
Thank you guys.
podcast. How was it? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
I liked it. I don't know if I brought enough, but
Oh, of course you did. I think so.
Always appreciate the third party perspective, right?
yeah.
Yeah, man. As I always say it, man, it's nice to just sit back for 45 minutes, an hour and hear about other people's problems instead of deal with my own.
Exactly.
Right?
Less stress.
Are you dealing
man.
with problems, Gerald? Do we need to talk about it?
You know what? I'll send an email.
Oh.
Wait, hey, John, where do I send that email?
Well, if you have your own problems, worries, or concerns that you would like a third-party opinion on, please do not hesitate to give us an email at givesometous@gmail.com. Again, it's just givesometous@gmail.com. There's nothing special about that email. It's just exactly what it sounds. So if you have any concerns, please send us an email. We'll look over it and we will see if we will talk about it on the podcast. But other than that, thank you very much for everyone tuning in for today's podcast and hope to see you guys again soon.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And always remember, stay kind to each other.